cards in Atlanta. Just took the lean in the family. Credit cards and the scammers. Getting the licks in the band. Legacies.
Yo. What's up, everybody? Let me fix this. Oh, why are you doing that? Oh, that's something. Hang on 1 second here. This shit right here. All right. I think I unfucked everything. Yay. Hello. Welcome to another episode, another edition of the Jump Off Variety Show. I'm your host, Mad Max, with the facts. Laying them down on wax, you know what I'm saying? That's right. Anyway, big shout out to Grassroots KC, friend of the show, sponsor, whatever you want to call it, even though monetarily it equates to nothing, but that's not why I do it. Just plugging, helping out the homies. That's what's up. Use my code MAX10, save yourself 10% on some green. Save green on green. Who don't want that? Anybody? You don't like saving money? Shit. That just sounds foolish now. Oh, man. It's been a wild week already. We've made it, though, through. And here we are. It's Thursday. I'm going to put myself up here. Hold on. No, I don't want to do that. What am I? Oh, no, I don't want to do that. Fuck. Oh, what? No. Son of a bitch. There we go. You know what? As we do this, it's not like I've got a whole lot of people watching at the moment, so I think I could probably fix this real quick. Like, just put me back over here. There we go. But you're gonna leave it at that. Anyway, wild week so far. You know, they say everything goes in threes. We lost another one today. Terry Hogan, Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster. You know, we had Ozzy yesterday. At Sunday, we had Malcolm Jamal Warner. And the reason LeBron's on here is just because he's a silly motherfucker and I put him on here anyway. And we got a little bit to talk about with him. And why not? He's a goofy bastard. But yeah, you know, growing up a Gen Xer, going to WWE, excuse me, it was WWF back then. Before it was the WWE, you know, we had WCW, you know, there was other small wrestling leagues, everything like that. And as youngsters, we, you know, they'd hit Kansas City up often, frequently. They still do. And they were out here not that long ago, actually. And I'm still, you know, not as heavily invested into wrestling as I was. But back in the day, like Ultimate Warrior, King Kong Bundy, British Bulldogs, Hercules Hernandez, Roddy Piper, Dino Bravo, Jake the Snake, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Andre the Giant, Bruno Sammartino, old school right there, Rocky Maivia. You got, I mean, so many. Jimmy the Superfly Snuka, Jimmy the Dragon, man, so many. The Bolsheviks with Nikolai Volkov and Boris Zukov, Sergeant Slaughter, the Four Horsemen, the Road Warriors, Demolition, all these old school wrestlers, you know, and a lot of them have passed on, unfortunately, and a lot of them passed on in a way that was even younger than what Hogan passed away at 71 years old in this day and age. It's not very old. But after going through, and apparently he's been dealing with some health issues over the years. He's had several surgeries on his back. He recently had surgery on his neck. And from the latest that I've heard, his cause of death is believed to be a cardiac arrest from what sources have cited. And there's been multiple sources that have cited it. And Ozzy Osbourne, as far as Ozzy's concerned, and if you haven't been aware of it, he's been dealing with health issues for several years now. He had a fall in 2019, I believe, that required surgery. He's been dealing with Parkinson's, if you weren't aware of that. And, he's had his health struggles, and plus not, probably living the cleanest, best life when he was in his younger heydays with, doing what he did. The same could be said for Hulk Hogan, in way of not so much not taking care of himself, but, the career that he had chosen involved being very physical, very contact wise, as far as the, sports entertainment, wrestling goes. You still got to make sure that your body and physique top notch, so there's a lot to it, and it takes a toll on you, just like anything else. It's, your car might be able to go 100 miles, 120 miles an hour, but that doesn't mean that it's designed to do it all the time, nonstop. You know what I'm saying? So it's just one of those things that you kind of need to consider. And Malcolm Jamal Warner, fortunately, his daughter, I believe, was swimming with him when the rip current took him. He was able to save the child, thank God. But unfortunately, it did cost him his life. So my prayers go out to all those that knew these individuals, all those that, whether you're a relative or family or just grieving because these are people that you looked up to, listened to, watched, whatever the case may be, then, my condolences to all the family and friends and everybody that's feeling the hurt of losing someone, knowing they're never going to come back, though they are immortalized in their videos and their songs and their movies and their music and their shows. So they should never be forgotten. And of course, it's hard to celebrate someone's life after they've passed, and it's a hard pill to swallow, even saying it. It just doesn't sound right. A celebration of life versus the sorrow of and mourning and sadness of death, and the realization of how fragile life can be. You're here one moment and gone the next. It's nothing that anybody is able to fully, when your time's up, your time's up. And with few exceptions, unless you take yourself out of the game, you never know which one's which. So all three of them made their families find peace in whatever way they can. They influenced me considerably. Like I said, being my age, Gen X, I watched The Cosby Show, and Malcolm Jamal Warner isn't a whole lot older than me. I think he's got like 2 years on me, 3 years on me tops. 52, I believe, is what he was. Ozzy obviously was 76, so he's younger than my dad. Hulkster was 71, also younger than my dad. But like I'd said before everybody jumped in, and welcome everybody, thank you for being here. They all had huge influence on my life, They all did, truly. I'd say especially the Hulkster. And watching him, whether it was at a live venue when they'd come through Kansas City, or whether it was on Saturday night's main event back in the day, before some of you youngsters might even remember, and I named off a bunch of wrestlers earlier, but growing up and watching the Hulkster and Randy Savage, the Ultimate Warrior, and King Kong Bundy and Kamala, not Paris, but the wrestler, Earthquake and Tugboat, and like I said, so many wrestlers. Those two Australian guys, I don't remember what they were called. Somebody in the chat remembers what those two Australian guys are called, and I could probably figure it out once I ask the AI, which we may get on the show tonight. We may not. We'll see. It's all up to how we're feeling about things. But, tonight, more or less, it's not breaking news. It's just a conversation about remembering the influence that these individuals had on not only my life, but the lives of others and in their respective careers. They were all pioneers to a point. Malcolm Jamal Warner started out early age and had success, with the Cosby Show, etc. And he was able to, from that, continue his success. And he never lost sight and lost track of what mattered. Obviously, family, importance of it, and keeping it together, along with, staying out of trouble relatively and not making too many waves. He lived, from what I can tell, a good life. It was just unfortunately cut short. Ozzy Osbourne, a pioneer in rock and roll music, and if you want to call it shock metal, a form of heavy metal, Black Sabbath and Ozzy. If you haven't ever listened to any of it before, I'm sure they've been playing it on the radio, but that music, I had a guy who worked for me. His name was John. Called him Fudge. Why? He just looked like shit all the time because he was a raging alcoholic. So I just called him Fudge instead of call him shit. So it was just my term of endearment for him. Great guy, though. I don't know if he's still alive. He was also a raging alcoholic, and that usually doesn't work out well. I don't drink. Been sober for like 15 years, maybe 16. Same with cigarettes. Don't smoke cigarettes. I vape. But, yeah, I do. Then you see me have a little bit of caffeine. Yes, I know. Well aware of it. But you won't see me have any alcohol. You won't see a cigarette out of my mouth, and you never will. And my children have never seen it, and they never will either. Growing up, the Hulkster had a cartoon series with Junkyard Dog, and the whole group was on Saturday mornings. Hulkster would always tell you to eat your vitamins, listen to your parents, and do good. And this was, old school Hogan prior to, WCW, NWO Hogan. Old school Hogan was like that guy, from being in movies like Rocky III, which he was in. I don't know if you guys remember that, or when, the WrestleMania with Mr. T, or the WrestleMania where he fought Andre. Yeah, that was one of the WrestleManias. Or the WrestleMania where Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage were getting assaulted and accosted, and Hogan comes out there and he ends up making nice and becoming allies with Randy Savage and helping Lady Elizabeth. I remember all that stuff, man. It was awesome. Wrestling back then was awesome. And I'm not saying it's not awesome anymore. AEW and WWE and other small wrestling outfits out there. It's good stuff. It's entertainment. And, but it's also something that will take a toll on you after time, just like anything else. So we're all mortal. We just don't know when that mortality ends. That's the thing. Unfortunately, we all live with the fear of not knowing. I don't think people so much have a fear of dying just because, it's not the death part that we're scared of. It's the not knowing what happens after you die part that people, I think, are afraid of. The unknown. And I can't tell you much about it simply because I haven't died. And I don't hope or plan to anytime soon, but there's no guarantees. So, knock on wood. Oh, we got a comment. I'd love to join your streams whenever you're streaming. Add me on Discord. Hey, you know what? I'll do you one better right now. I'll just send link. You want to come on and chop it up with me? Anybody's welcome to. I'll just put it right here. You can come on in. I'll let anybody in. I'm not that kind of guy I'm all about interaction. I'm all about being inclusive with others. I appreciate everybody's comments, good, bad, or in between. And anybody that wants to hop on here, more than welcome to. Love to have you. Anything that you guys want to talk about, any stories that you might have that any of these individuals have influenced you, I'd love to hear about them. One story that I could tell you about Ozzy Osbourne, actually. And no, I did not meet Ozzy Osbourne. I did not. However, back in the 80s, and this was probably mid 80s, yeah, probably mid 80s, Lita Ford and Ozzy Osbourne had a duet. And the duet, I don't know if I could get in trouble if I play it from my YouTube or not, but I don't mind doing it. It's a great song, yeah. But anyway, Lita Ford, Ozzy Osbourne, on the duet, she just put out a new album. Back then, there was a store, kind of like a Walmart is today, but it was called Venture. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of it or not. Venture, Venture, and they had like a black and white stripe logo as far as their brand goes. And anyway, there's several of them here in the Midwest. And when Lita Ford came out with her album, which then was in tape form because CDs were still a relatively new thing, if they'd even come out at all, I don't remember, because I remember I bought the tape. I don't think the CDs were out yet, and they were just coming in to the works things, but it was. No, because Laserdisc CDs were probably out, but the shit was expensive and I didn't have a CD player. All right. So I had tapes. Anyway, Lita Ford, she was at that venture signing autographs for her new album. And myself and my Russians, there's three of us left. The fourth one just passed away here in February. God bless you. May you rest in peace, brother. But we all went, met Lita Ford, got autographs, got pictures. And no, Ozzy Osbourne was not there. But it was really cool. And she was super hot. And it was awesome. We all back then, I mean, when we were younger, had the jean jackets with the pins in them. Whether it was heavy metal or otherwise, rap hadn't really become the biggest music on the planet as of yet, though it was coming into its own with NWA. As far as out here in the Midwest, NWA and Eazy-E, Ice Cube, Public Enemy. You had Eric B. and Rakim, Gangstar, Guru and Supreme, obviously. But all that was around. All that was around back then. Run DMC, Fat Boys, the Beastie Boys, of course, legends. And, that's what life was like. Life in the Midwest wasn't a whole lot different, I don't believe, than life anywhere else in America, depending on how you lived it. You know what I'm saying? Back then, the nuclear family was pretty much the norm, as in many cases, it is still the norm. In my household, it is. And that's not a knock against anything or anybody else. I'm just sharing information with you. It's not anything derogatory or negative, so please don't take it that way. Bear with me for 1 second here. I want to make sure my phone was jacking up. Now it's not. Hold on. Technology. You know why I like going live? Because I get to interact with you guys and gals, and you're more than welcome to interact with me. And if you watched last night's show or any other show, you know that this is the therapy. This is the only therapy my ass can afford right now. So hopefully that'll change in the near future, and we'll talk about that once it's all done and we can actually discuss things. But yeah, discussed a little bit about me yesterday, learned a little bit about my past. Like I said, nothing, wasn't a flex, nothing like that. I'm just letting you know that I'm no angel, or I wasn't an angel, whatever you want to say, however you want to use that. But I'm just a regular guy, been married going on 19 years, got two beautiful kids, and I should be living my best life. And to the effect of being able to do so, we're going to need a little bit of assistance and a little bit of help with that. And that's not asking you guys for anything. That's what I got going on in the background. So it's all good. It's all good. Oh man. And then let's start on this. As much as I didn't want to get into it, because I honestly don't like talking about this guy. And there's been talk for as long as I can remember, at least over the last 2 to 3 years, especially over performance enhancing drugs, human growth hormone, steroids, whatever you want to call them. And a lot of these allegations, rumors, stories, they all trace back and go back to LeBron. And whether it's Shale Sonnen talking about it, whether it's Kevin Garnett talking about it, whether it's Jeff Teague talking about it, I think that where there's smoke, there's fire. There might not be a complete truth on a one-sided story that you haven't heard anything as far as a rebuttal from LeBron or from Rich Paul or from Clutch Sports or from Uninterrupted or the Mindhead podcast, whatever the fuck it's called that he does with Steve Nash, the Head Games podcast, whatever it is. I don't know what it is. I don't watch it. So whatever it is, I think that, kind of like I said earlier, you start to see cracks in that shiny facade that all that glitters ain't gold, baby. All that glitters ain't gold. And now it would make more sense and would be a whole lot more logical to understand how this man has been able to maintain his physical prowess and peak physical condition based on the fact that if he is taking allegedly any performance enhancing drugs, then yeah, there's your answer right there. I was watching something earlier from Uncut Hoops, great channel, by the way. Check them out if you haven't already. I'll give my plugs at the end of the show. But he had an interesting show about this today in regards to the allegations, and same with Scap Attack. You haven't Scap Attack, good stuff. Johnny Arnett, also good stuff. Great for basketball history, especially if you're a Lakers fan. And but Uncut Hoops, he put out a video today saying, basically, I believe the videos was titled "How We Broke LeBron," and it had a picture of LeBron and it had a picture of Kevin Garnett. And then, great video. You have to watch it. I'm not going to play it here simply because I had a warning of copyright, even though I didn't do anything to break the terms of service of copyright infringement based on fair use. That's that whole disclaimer that is at the very beginning of the show. But with that being said, I'm not saying that LeBron is on steroids, and I'm not saying he isn't on steroids. You're going to have to show me more proof than just his physical prowess, but I think there might be something to it. I absolutely 100% would have to say, yeah, there's a possibility, sure. The man's in great shape, but, he's got some baggage too. He's a puzzle piece to me. He doesn't exactly make much sense anymore as far as what his end game and what his goal is, how he wants to be remembered. Because once he's done playing, people will still talk about LeBron, but what are they going to say? You know what I mean? Is he going to be known as just the guy that went and chased rings based on that Uncut Hoops episode today, where basically it comes down to LeBron got broken after that 07 loss, that 07 sweep, that 07 miserable, lackluster, horrid performance that he essentially gave up on that team, his Cleveland Cavaliers, after they were down 2-0. And they lost the series. Like I said, they got swept, and he did not play well. He was young, okay? He was young, but he was talented enough, obviously, to get to the finals. Though the Eastern Conference was weak, he was there, and he lost. But then, for the next 3 years, he continued to lose and not make it back to the finals. And in the meantime, the guy that was getting back to the finals and winning was Kobe. Kobe Bryant. Yeah, really was. And he was doing it in a way that didn't have any type of super team surrounded by him. He had talent. Don't get it twisted. Pau Gasol, Ron Artest, etc. They're ballers. They're ballers. Odom, they're all very relevant individuals. You know, they all contributed. But as far as the help that LeBron's had after that 2010 season, after once again seeing the team that eliminated him from going to the finals to face the Lakers, whether it was Boston a couple times and Orlando with Dwight, he just got to watch Kobe get rings. And he's looking at it like, man, I don't have any. And that's the problem. How am I supposed to be the chosen one and I don't even have a championship yet? Well, I can see where that could be a bit of an issue and a slight problem. So, of course, you want to do whatever you can to try to get that changed and get you some championships. And that's how the big three started to form. Talks between D Wade and Bosh and LeBron and Pat Riley in the front office of the Miami Heat and that organization all came to a agreement, made a deal, put together a super team, if that's what you want to call it, and they went to 4 straight NBA finals. And they lost 2 of them, and they won 2 of them. They lost the first one to the Mavericks, which they weren't supposed to. They weren't supposed to beat the Mavericks. That wasn't even supposed to be a close matchup. And once again, LaFlopper didn't show up. And I'll say the same thing about the rest of his teammates. They got whooped. They got spanked. And not to say that the Dallas Mavericks weren't a good team. You had Dirk, obviously. You had Jason Kidd. You had Jason Terry. You had Sean Marion. You had J.J. Barea. You had plenty of players that were still very usable assets and made a huge difference in way of getting to that championship. But like I said, LeBron, he was there. He played. But for being the greatest player, allegedly, supposedly, then you're underwhelming and certainly underperforming by a lot. Like a lot. And then you went and you won yourself a couple championships back to back against a young Thunder team in 2012, right? A little bit of redemption. Got lucky in 2013 because Ray Allen decided to lead the Celtics, come down and help you out. And if Ray Allen hadn't hit that 3, you'd have lost again. But we're not dealing with what ifs. We're dealing with reality. And that's not what happened. You won your first championship in 2012. And then you were able to ride the Lightning into 2013 and win you another one, right? So 2012, you beat the Thunder. 2013, you beat the San Antonio Spurs. And that probably felt good, LeBron. Until next year when San Antonio came back and they beat you again. So, not so good with Texas teams. You lost to 3 Texas teams. You lost to 2 Texas teams 3 times. Mavericks once and Spurs twice. Then you lost to the same California team 3 times. That's the Warriors. 15, 17, and 18, respectively. So, here's the other thing. And if you're the greatest player and you're the GOAT and you're the best, how come after 22 going on 23 seasons, you don't have every record and they're stuck with only 4 championships and are still, at that point, after playing for that long, it doesn't look good. The longer you play, the worse your legacy becomes. And the way that you've behaved as far as your antics go, your narcissistic behavior, because you do check every box when it comes to that category of a narcissist. I think that you've overstayed your welcome in Los Angeles. Obviously, they learned their lesson. And that's why you didn't get any kind of offer to come back. You won't be a Laker next year. This is everybody that understands basketball and business understands that. There's not going to be a buyout because no one's going to buy out your contract because no one is interested in having LeBron James. I wouldn't say nobody. There might be some idiots out there. There have been talks with a few teams, whether it was the Knicks or the Cavaliers or the Mavericks or the Warriors. And there's scenarios to where I've heard that Jimmy Butler's straight up for LeBron James because Steph wants to play with him and they played together in the past, but Jimmy Butler's on a 2-year contract. So I think that just let him finish out this last season, see what he's able to do with the Lakers. I think it'll be just an absolute circus, a complete dumpster fire. But I also think it'll be entertaining to watch simply because it gives material to talk about. And, I can't say that I even remotely like LeBron because I don't. That's a blatant lie on my part, not being honest with you. That guy he's overpromised and underdelivered his entire career. And I get it. The spotlight's been on him since he was a young man. They've been force-feeding him down our throats since the late 90s. This kid out of Akron. This kid out of Akron. Oh, this kid out of Akron. Fuck. I couldn't, yeah. And this kid out of Akron, every time I saw footage of him, he was doing the same shit. He would drive inside. And, 20 some odd years later, he's still driving inside. He hasn't got as good as he should be or developed as well as he needed to in his post game, in his mid-range game, in definitely anywhere near his perimeter game. Yeah, he can make some threes, and every once in a while he can hit some jumpers, but as far as being able to rely on that consistently, no way. Absolutely not. Defensively, no. 20 going on 23 years, 6 all defensive teams, and only 1 first team all defense. Stop. Compare that to somebody like Kobe, who's got 9 all NBA first team, same as Jordan, tied for the most in history of the NBA with that for 2 guards, shooting guards, whatever you want to call them. So LeBron James, nothing, like I said, Karl Malone with rings. That's all it is. That's all it is. He's not even that, because at least Karl Malone was a little bit intimidating, imposing, wasn't a pussy. Not like I'm a big Karl Malone fan for other reasons based on past behaviors that I don't agree with. But I'm not going to get into that right now. Excuse me. Let's see here. Caitlin Clark, she's still out, injured. And there again, kind of like I was saying yesterday, you got your one asset that's making your league great and making your league grow. And what do you got? You treat her like garbage. Now she's not playing. The Fever are in 7th place. There's 12 teams. Playoffs aren't that far out. You got to make sure that she's healthy and can stay healthy. That way she can continue to help you grow your brand. Kind of like what Hulk Hogan did with the WWF. Not only was he able to help grow that brand, he was able to grow his own brand. Hulkamania, whether it was that, everybody was all about the yellow Hulk Hogan outfit with the yellow boots, the yellow trunks, the yellow shirt that he would rip off, that he would do at all 4 corners of the ring. He marketed himself. Very similar to what Caitlin Clark did. You could parallel the two and see the success that was made. And like I said, he starred in movies. He had, what was that, Thunder Bay that he was in, that with the boat show? He was like a detective or some shit. I didn't watch a whole lot of it. I don't remember a lot of it. But, and then he had that other movie with Tim Tiny Lister. May he rest in peace. No Holds Barred. That's what the name of it was. I remember watching that in the movie theaters. Shit, I might watch that tonight. Who knows? Don't know what I'll do tonight. I'm not going to do anything bad, though, so don't worry. I'm Russian. You can trust me. Serious. But one thing I would like to ask for those people that are tuning in and do tune in, and I greatly appreciate it. You guys, you really do help me out, and I appreciate that. I don't mean that just by channel wise or anything else. Just having anybody to listen, and talk to after that, being able to do so during the course of the day makes a huge difference. It helps with the isolation and the loneliness, and I think it will do a lot of good for not only myself, but for other people if they try the same thing. Even if you are camera shy or whatnot, shouldn't make any difference. It shouldn't make any difference. Get out there and get out of your comfort zone. That's it. That's simple. It's not hard to start a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or an X account or Instagram or Rumble or Kick or Twitch or any of those. No, it's simple. There's nothing to it. It's just a matter of how much you want to invest in it and how serious you want to take it. I know last night and tonight, son, new job, just making sure everything's good on that part, making sure that there's no issues. In the rain and the weather haven't been that great out here in the Midwest either. There's been a flash flood warning for the last week, and there's another one out tonight. So you got to worry about your kids. Make sure they're okay, even though you can raise them right and teach them and reiterate everything. You just still worry. And if you have kids, then you understand. If you don't, someday you will understand or have kids, or someday you won't. And then none of this will make sense to you. But once you do have kids, you realize that there's things that are greater than yourself and far more important, and that gives you purpose. Let's check in real quick here and see if there's anything of note to look about here in way of news. And I'll share the old screen. Let's go and see what Shams is talking about. Let me refresh Shams because I don't know how fresh that is. There we go. What do we got, Shams? What do we miss? What do we miss? The Detroit Pistons are signing guard forward Colby Jones on the two-way NBA contract. Sources tell ESPN Jones, 23, averaged 8.7 points, 4.3 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and 1.3 steals in the final 2 months of the 24-25 season, showing flashes as a productive rotation player in his second NBA season. All right. Nice. And what else? We got free agent guard Jared Butler agreeing to a one-year deal with the Suns. Mark Bartelstein and Kieran Pilar of Priority Sports tell ESPN the 2021 second rounder averaged 9 points and 17 minutes per game over 60 games for Philly and the Wizards last season. Dun, dun, dun. The Suns have claimed former Lakers guard Jordan Goodwin off free agency waivers, sources tell ESPN. Goodwin, waived by the Lakers to create roster space for Marcus Smart, is a gritty upside pickup for the Suns' backcourt. And I would have to agree with that 100%. I think they probably, you know what you get with Marcus Smart. You get a guy that is going to have a hard time staying healthy. Same thing with DeAndre Ayton. And instead of that, you want to let these guys go that have been proving themselves and trying to make their best impression on the franchise to stay with the franchise. But I'm just saying. What we got here? The Charlotte Hornets are signing guard Antonio Reeves on a. Did I just say that? No, that was Colby Jones. All right. The Charlotte Hornets are signing guard Antonio Reeves to a two-way NBA deal. Sources tell ESPN the 2024 Pelicans second round pick averaged 6.9 points, 40% from the beyond the arc, and has 44 games as a rookie last season. All right. Free agent guard Lindy Waters, third, has agreed to a one-year deal with the San Antonio Spurs. Agents Shy Say and Winston Nelson of Clutch Sports. Oh, Clutch Sports. Tell ESPN Waters has shot 37% from three in the first 4 NBA seasons in OKC, Golden State, and Detroit. Spent a little time in a few different organizations. All right. And David Jones Garcia, all summer league first team breakout guard, has agreed to a two-way NBA contract with the Spurs. Agents Darunas Visokas and Guillermo Bermeo of Gersh Sports tells ESPN's Jones Garcia starred for the Spurs this month. 22 points per game, 6 rebounds, 53% on threes. Nice. Rockets officials and agent Calvin Andrews of Clutch Sports negotiated the new deal for Okogie, who averaged a career high 1.2 steals and ranked 4th in steals per 36 minutes among players to appear in 40 games or more last season. Okay. And there's Josh Okogie and his agreement to a $3.1 million deal with the Rockets. Rockets making waves. Okogie enters his 8th NBA season and gives the Rockets another active wing defender who has averaged, a little over 6 points in 416 games. So there's Okogie. This was days ago. Blake Wesley agreed to a one-year deal with the Trailblazers, according to ESPN. The former Suns first-round pick shot 37% on threes in the second half of last season and now lands a new role in Portland. Congratulations. And Chris Paul going back to the Clippers. Great. I thought we talked about Doug McDermott already. I'm pretty sure that we did. Going back to the Kings. So nothing too new going on in that area. And let me get in here. Go back to this. And I want to say that I have Legion of Hoops. What do you got? Kyrie Irving's agent called him during his live stream last night and had to let him know he was saying way too much. What did he say? Okay. Let's see what he said. I'm curious. Minute 51 seconds. Why not?
That not only played, I'm not letting people come on and talk about Kobe like Kobe wasn't one of the best. That not only played, but that came in as a 17-year-old against grown men. And by the time this man was 22 years old, he had a few championships and he was busting the best of the best ass. If y'all don't knock that shit off, I'm talking to y'all at home, the fucking media talking heads, the ones that casually throw names around like, bro, if you don't knock it off, you weren't like that. It's okay. Not everybody could be Kobe. Not everybody could wear those size, you know what I mean, size shoes that he had. Yeah, I'm not going down into detail about this because what's said on the internet and the digital space is said. It's the internet. But when it comes to real respect and real recognizing real, this man, Kobe Bean Bryant, is immortalized not just because of his basketball. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. Like, this man, he is way bigger because of the character, because of what we witnessed him go through. We didn't care if we didn't care about certain failures. The real Kobe fans didn't care about the failures. They didn't care about the naysayers.
Facts.
The real Kobe fans, the real Mamba fans that I'm talking to didn't care about who he was competing with. We know who fucked with Kobe and who didn't. I know who fucked with Kobe and who didn't. I'm not going to say I knew Kobe the best at all. I won't say that. You know, I'm not going to disrespect all his relationships. I'm not going to do that. But what I will say is put respect. Put respect where it's due, y'all. We know who Kobe fucked with. That's,
You know, I'm not going to say he's wrong. He is right. Yeah, there's been a lot of shit lately. People going after Kobe. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense to me. And they always want to compare it to LeBron. I fucking hate LeBron. But I will tell you this. Out of the 22 games that Kobe's Lakers played against LeBron, and whether it be the Cavaliers, the Heat, or the Cavaliers, LeBron has the advantage and wins over those 22 games against the Lakers. Now, did he have better stats every game? No, that's not what I'm saying. And if you want a good resource to go to and look some of the stuff up, go to landofbasketball.com and you can find all these stats for yourself and compare them, players however you want. And they've got advanced analytics for you individuals that like to look at the advanced stats and the advanced analytics, etc. They try to implement it to older players as well to try to give it more relevance and balance it out a little bit more. But check it out. LeBron, he ended up winning 16 out of the 22 games. So it was a 16-6 record against Kobe in LeBron's favor. But like I said, that's team versus team. If you look at the head-to-head matchups and look at the statistics on each of those games, and they date all the way back, like I said, since LeBron came into the league to the time that Kobe retired, those 22 games that they played were all non-postseason games. They never been in the postseason. That's because LeBron kept getting knocked out by other Eastern teams that Kobe was able to beat during the course of the finals runs that he had without Shaq in, 2009 and 2010, where they beat the Magic and then beat the Celtics, even though they lost to the Celtics in 2008. But that's okay. And I'm a Celtics fan, obviously. Celtics and Chiefs. Yeah. But yeah. Let's see if there's anything else of interest in here. Yeah, nothing much I need there. I'll stop sharing that one. And let me go and let me see if I can find this article over here first and then be able to pull it up. Maybe. NBA stars realign as Michael Jordan and Carmelo Anthony. Lead name is moving into NBA media roles. Interesting. Yeah. All the training camps looks like gotten underway already as far as NFL goes. So the Bucks won't allow Desmond Watson, the rookie, to practice until he gets in better shape to put him on player unable to perform list. They put him on the PUP list because of his weight. This fucking guy is so big. But I can understand it. It makes sense if he was a little bit, not, I'm not going to talk about anybody else. What I'm saying, I would get a little better health. I'm just saying. And there's some movies. Looks like they came out. I don't know. Oh, there's a Five Nights at Freddy's 2 trailer that just dropped. Interesting. Wilderness thriller Untamed is a dark tale in a strikingly beautiful setting. Wilderness thriller. I believe that is the one that is on Netflix. I'm pretty sure. I've heard good things about it. But I don't watch a lot of television when it comes to that. I like to read, and I enjoy history the most. So, and mathematics and chemistry. So, things like that interest me. And sports, obviously, clearly. Let's see. Anything else? Yeah, Tired Matthew. He decided to hang it up, call it good, retired. Can't blame him. Man's got a ring, had a good career. So, wish him nothing but the best. Fountain and Mecole Hardman, they both decided to call early retirement also. Former Chiefs, both receivers. I don't believe Fountain has a ring though, but don't quote me on that one. And let's see what else we got. Butterbean approves Mike Tyson's super fight and points out boxing legend's weakness. He is considerably older. Crazy. Taylor Swift's brother Austin Swift and Natalie Portman had an unexpected meetup in New York City. Celtics officially waive NBA championship guard. Reigning G League MVP after 3 seasons. Who did they waive? J.D. Davison. I guess he did, yeah. Have waived J.D. Davison. That was actually about 4 hours ago. So, yeah. Pretty new stuff. The Chiefs, classy organization. They posted a tribute, nice fitting one for Matthews. So, congratulations to him. I wish all those guys that retired early nothing but the best in their futures. Yeah, you know, everything else still kind of wild around the world. Nothing that's any more or less wild than it was before. So, yeah, we'll see what happens here this upcoming season with both the NFL and the NBA. I think it'll be interesting. I think that whatever happens, it's going to be worth the price of admission in a way of just being able to stay entertained watching the crazy shit that we're going to see. So, yeah. What's this? How Vince Carter is approaching Buffalo Bills ownership role. I want to be involved. Nice. All right. Mayor of DC, Super Bowl is a lock if new stadium is built. Okay. I don't know about that, but all right. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, Shadur Sanders, a little speeding ticket, just not smart. They've addressed it. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. What else we got? VHS Halloween coming in October from directors Paco Plaza, Alex Rossberry, Casper, Kelly, and more. Halloween VHS. The 8th installment of the found footage anthology franchise will be released on Shudder October 3rd, 2025. I love the month of October. So many reasons. The Indiana Fever faced the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA matchup, notably without their star player, Caden Clark. Huh. Maybe you should do a better job of protecting that asset, like I've been saying. Just saying. Woman's cat is scared of thunder. Husband takes care of it. I don't know what that means. Cheap Wax Wednesday. Box Breaks 2021 Top Series 2. There. And Weapons First Reactions hail Zach Greger's Barbarian follow-up as a horror masterpiece. I don't know that I've seen the first Barbarian, but I have heard some good things about it. And Chiefs rookie already developed the chemistry with Patrick Mahomes at camp. Oh, that's good. Better to make friends than to be like Dallas Cowboys and beating each other up. Literally. Dumbasses. Here, as I say it, Lions Dan Campbell shuts down practice after superstars fight multiple times 8 hours ago. That's crazy. Fighting in practice. You guys want to get hurt before the season even starts and still get paid, huh? That's crazy. Can we get some upgrade for you? Nothing there. I care about Tennessee. Possible replacement for Will Levis. Yeah. Sinners and Superman are hits, but superheroes and horror movies are no longer box office guarantees. I don't think anything is a box office guarantee. It doesn't have to be any certain genre. Well, Aaron Rodgers opens up and his first pass play gets picked off. Things are starting out great in Steelerland. Oh my God. Oh, it should be an interesting season. I believe it will be. Can't believe it. Training camp. Getting ready for everything to start back up again. It's coming. Well, guys, gals, I appreciate you all. I do. We're going to land this plane. We're going to park the bus. We're going to call it a good hour for tonight. I had fun. I hope you guys did too. I really appreciate everybody. And I hope that if you haven't done so already, you would consider to hit that subscribe, like, share, notify, follow, subscribe, yada, yada, yada. It means a lot, and it helps the channel. And it continues to give me more reasons to keep coming back. So I thank you all. Remember, it is an interactive show, so anybody at any time is always welcome to come on. And I am on Discord. I'm just under the same, Jump Off Variety Show with Mad Max and the Max Factor Max Cast. So I'll put a link up. I thought I did the other day on the public, my community, whatever, on the community on YouTube where I post things. So, yeah. Other than that, shout out to Raw Sports Radio, Super Dave. Shout out to Water God TV with Rob the Water God, Hickory TDAU, The Daddy and Underwhelming, and of course, Rolling Hay Podcast -VR. And also, Bo over there, Chicago Million Cubs Project. Awesome, dude. Great show. If you're into selling sports cards, especially baseball, and interested in eBay sales and want to learn about that kind of stuff, check Bo out. He's good stuff. Can't say enough good things about him. Real nice guy, too. And very interactive in the chats, very interactive in his lives. And like I said, he sells quite a bit on eBay, and especially baseball. And if you can figure it out, the Million Cubs Project, he's a big Cubs fan, and I'm pretty sure he has well more than 1 million Cubs cards, just Cubs cards. But he's got a lot of stuff. You can find him on eBay as well. I'll find the link and I'll put it up on the community playlist or community board, whatever it is, on the YouTube. But aside from that, thank you everybody for tuning in to another episode, another edition of the Jump Off Variety Show. I'm Mad Max, and until tomorrow, it's Friday. We're going to be here again. We'll see what time, but, just late night, it doesn't bother me. It might even work better than going on a little earlier, but we'll see. I'll have to, we'll just have to see. But everybody have a good night. God bless, and we'll see you all tomorrow.